So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and just sort of some of the work in progress, some of the latest figures I've finished off in the last couple of weeks. Didn't do a huge amount of painting over Christmas, mainly because it's Christmas and I spent time with the family, which was great, and actually put away all my painting stuff, and I only got it back out just after Christmas. So this is sort of a few of the figures that got finished at the end of Christmas, plus a few that I've managed to do subsequently. So slightly more information than you needed there, doesn't matter. So really pleased with these. These are the first 6 figures I've painted of the Brigade Games Kickstarter American War of Independence figures that I showed. So I basically bought in, didn't go crazy, I bought 24, 30 militia type figures. So this is the first 6, plus some British grenadiers, plus a couple of, one cavalry officer, one officer rather. So really pleased how these came out. They're lovely figures. They didn't disappoint. You know, as I said before, my standard of painting is definitely wargame standard, wargame table standard, but these have come out really nicely. They're such well-defined figures that if you do a half decent job, bit of wash, bit of dry brushing, what have you, they really pop really nicely. So these are going to be possibly going to see action in this Friday in the AWI game that we're playing, Sharp Practice. I'll probably play a unit of skirmishers. There you go, surprise. But I'm really pleased with how they've come out. Definition of the figures, as I say, is really nice. Let's show that off. So try and show that well. Really nice looking figures. This one's got the bedroll on the back. Yeah, quite pleased with how they've come out and how they've looked. Based again with the Luke's APS basing material with a few tufts added. Did I mention how easy they are? I love that. So there you go, that's the first 6 of those, that Kickstarter done. So this is the officer figure that I bought. This is Paul... I've forgotten his name. His famous character in the American War of Independence. This was an extra character that you could buy if you bought into the Kickstarter, and I just thought he looked a lovely figure, and indeed I think he is a really nice figure. So I painted him up. He will command my loyalist troops as one of the main officers, and he compares quite favourably. This is one of the warlord officers that came out of the artillery pack that I showed as part of my Christmas booty. So I painted up the first one just as a general sort of loyalist, not loyalist, sorry, what am I talking about? Rebel commander is this guy. This guy will probably either be loyalist or commander, or it doesn't really matter, because that's the beauty of that period, is that the loyalists and the rebels are fairly interchangeable. Sorry, not to say rebels, are you? But the loyalists and the revolutionaries are fairly interchangeable in terms of troop types. I know the regular formed bodies are very different, but in terms of the militia, in terms of the state militia, the loyalist troops, the rebel troops, they're all very, very similar outfitted, so they fit together quite nicely. But you can see the size difference is pretty good. The figures go together. In fact, I should have showed you that on here. So this is the infantryman. Let me grab. This is one of the warlord figures. They're a little bit bigger than these brigade games figures, but I think they're fine. I mean, at the end of the day, people are not the same size, so figures are not going to be the same size, right? So quite pleased how these have all come out. This model is pretty good, I think. Well, not I think, it is a really nice model. I think I've done it reasonable justice, kept the paint job really simple, and I think they've come out nicely. So I've also managed to do the first gun from the Warlords AWI artillery packs. You get 2 guns in each box with the sorted crew. I've done these as sort of military types. I think you're supposed to really do them as either Continentals or British. You can change the heads to be appropriate. They also have this some Molly somebody or other who was apparently a lady gunner who, in fact there were two I believe, who joined batteries during various battles in the period when their husbands were killed serving the guns. They stood up and, like true patriots, stood up and manned the guns as well. So they give you a lady figure within the box, so I painted her up too. So the gun was fiddly as hell. Jeez, that was fiddly to put together. Really, really awkward. For my fat little fingers, getting that together was really, really awkward. And I've put them on this base. It's an artillery base. You can see a design, I think it's by Foxtrot Charlie Games. It does lots of these sort of MDF basing, which is great if for sort of sharp practice and so forth. You can keep them together, and each one of them can be a casualty. I've stuck the gun down, so if they all get killed, you just leave the base with the gun on it. And I just thought that's fun. Quite pleased to how that came out, but as I say, fiddly as hell. Fiddly. So talking about guns, this is, as I showed before, my English Civil War project is continuing. I finished up another regiment, which I'll show you in a minute, but also decided to give it some artillery support. Really pleased how this guy came out. This is a medium cannon with crew. I've based them, unlike the sharp practice ones, I've based them as one block, just because it's easier that way, I think. And the way the black powder rules work, or pike and shot rules work, you add casualties to the unit, the block, rather than removing individual figures, so I thought sticking them down made more sense. Really nice figure. Unlike the Warlord's plastic model, these are metal, and putting that gun together was a piece of piss. It was easy. So really pleased how that's come out. Maybe a little bit too much basing material on there, flocking on there. I don't know. You can never have too much flock, can you? Or tufts. So here's the Blue Regiment of Pike. The first regiment I did was obviously black, which I showed you before, and then as I think in the first video, I'm going after, getting these pikes to line up. I'm going just really simple colour schemes, just to make it easy to identify them on the tabletop for me, as much as anything else. So I'm just going basic colour schemes. So I've got the black regiment, this is the blue regiment, the next one I'm going to do is a red regiment, just to make sure that, as I say, for my poor old eyes, that they're fairly easy to identify. This is a rag bag mixture of different figures that I had collected over time. They also don't fit together very well. Need to work that out. That's better. Yeah, there's mainly Warlord plastics there, but there's a couple of other manufacturers as well. It was basically, I think I mentioned on the last video, I've been collecting ECW figures for a period of time, just as I see them on eBay or bring and buy sales and that sort of thing, and just picking up the odd figures here and there. Some are better than others. Some needed a lot of work, some didn't need any work, and the combination I think works okay, just as a sort of rag bag, sort of random party of foot troops. And I've got the metal ones, which I'm going to do as sort of more lifeguardy elite type regiment next time round. So yeah, quite pleased with them. They've come out all right. And then the musketeers to go with that block of pike. So again, 2 lots of 12 musketeers. So the way the pike and shot rules seem to work is you have a 16-man block of pike and then 2 units of 12 musketeers. Some of these figures were really scraggy, really bad. I tried to sort of do some improvement of them. There were bits missing off figures, and I've cannibalised others to put them together. There were some that just, the arms sort of went to nowhere. I think I've got most of them right now, but not the best figures in the world, but they were cheap, and it makes a nice little regiment ready to go. So that's my second regiment done, and the effect's okay, I think, en masse. Certainly from 3 feet, when they're going to be on the battle table, they'll be fine. So I can't remember if I showed this one off already or not, but there's an officer group to command this regiment, or one of the regiments anyway. I think I might have showed it with the other one, but anyway, whatever. It's quite nice models. I think these are Renegade figures that I bought at Warfare in a sort of second-hand bag of recycled figures, and they're quite nice figures. I think this is actually supposed to be Charles I, but I've just basically done it as a random Royalist commander ready to command that regiment when I deploy it. So finally, where I've got to with my ECW project so far is this unit of, well, I think this was the Warlords Forlorn Hope unit you can buy, and I bought it on eBay, half painted. Somebody had done a reasonable job, actually a pretty good job on some of the figures, some of the faces and what have you, were really well done, but he'd only done sort of half the painting on any of them, so I finished them up. And basically I'm going to use this as probably my commanded foot unit. I don't know, I'll see how it goes, depends how I play it. But there were 18, I think, so I put two. I've got two more that I can use, but this is a unit of 16, which I think is the sort of largest I'm likely to need for commanded foot, and I think they're quite good. This is I love this guy here. With his halberd charging at somebody, or half pike, is it half pike? I don't know, somebody will know. Really nice looking figure. He's metal, this guy. Drummer boy with his with his pistol out ready to shoot as he goes in the breach. And the rest of them are pretty nice figures as well, actually. Quite pleased with these guys. They've, as I say, they were half done. The guy had done quite a lot of the hard work, actually, and I just needed to sort of finish them up. Some were more finished than others, but I think the effect is pretty good. So that will be one of the final units of infantry, independent infantry, musketeers, that I'll do. So other things I'm working on at the moment, this is very much work in progress. This is, I didn't show these figures off before Christmas because I thought you'd had enough of my Kickstarter stuff that I'd wasted money on, or spent money on. You never waste money on figures, do you? These are Hungarian Second World War cavalry from Great Escape Games. There we go. They did a small Kickstarter, a very quick one, for this very specialist unit, Hungarian mounted troops from the Second World War, for their bolt action range, and because you've seen all the Hungarians I did, which are very much Battle of Budapest late war figures, all on the rubble bases. I had also bought into another Kickstarter, which I still haven't received. I have to say I'm a bit concerned that there's a diddle, dog tag miniatures, produced this Kickstarter of a whole load of Hungarian troops, which look really awesome, and I like the look of them. So I did a late pledge through their website. They were supposed to come before Christmas. First, I think it was supposed to come at the end of the summer. It's, what is it, January, and we still haven't seen anything of them yet. And the guy has been very unresponsive, so I'm a bit concerned about what's happened with them. But I thought them, plus these cavalry, plus a few of the other figures from the other collection I've got, would be really good for an earlier war Hungarian army, so I can have some flexibility in what I'm doing. And so I bought into these, and they're quite nice. They're quite chunky figures, but they're very nice done. So these are, yeah, they're quite neat. They've got quite, the easiest way to see it on this is the dismounted officer. I know he's got sort of jodhpurs on, but he's quite bottom heavy, so he seems. Anyway, so I bought a unit of 10 cavalry and a mounted officer and a dismounted officer as a set, and then I also bought, oops, excuse me, reaching around here. I also bought this is a medium machine gun and crew as well to go with it. And again, you can see these, I know they've got the jodhpur things in, but they seem very bottom heavy as figures, but I think they'll paint up quite well. So that's my Hungarians done, and then once, if this Kickstarter, the other Kickstarter ever arrives, that will give me an opportunity to do a sort of earlier war Hungarian army with the cavalry bases. But yeah, we'll see. So I've also used contrast paints on the horses, so I think that certainly is a lot easier for me. It gives a lot more shadow. I haven't done any work on these. These have literally just been base painted with I can't remember which the spray paint is, but it's a sort of a sandy colour. You can see the colour, and then I've just started with the base colour of flesh tone using a contrast flesh colour, and then done the first coat on the over jackets and the horses, and that's it. So it hasn't had any work done to it yet, but they'll come out all right, I think. So anyway, there you go. That's where I am so far this year with my painting. Got started again now, at least. I'm getting a bit distracted from. I wanted to finish off the ECW figures, English Civil War figures, before I moved on to something else. But we played some really good sharp practice American War of Independence games, and I actually found that I still was a little shy on the number of figures I needed, so I started to work on, as you saw, those brigade games figures, which I'm really pleased with what I got from the Kickstarter. Plus I found I had a couple of sprues of American sort of nondescript militia troops from Warlords, which I've also made up and will paint up, so I've got a few more options in terms of my armies. But that's where I am, that's where I've got to. So I hope your projects are going well, I hope your 2020 is going well. I have to say mine is so far, a long may that continue. Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for liking. I love the interaction in the chat as well, so I appreciate that hugely. Creeping up towards those 500 subscribers, which is just awesome. So thanks to everybody who is watching and whoever is promoting my videos. That's fantastic. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. This is Don signing out.